Tany grew up side by side with gorillas, and the bond she formed with one of them was unforgettable. But when she left, she believed he would forget her. Years later, she was warned never to meet him again. What happened when they finally came face to face stunned everyone. Tany Aspen was raised in a world unlike most children. Her father, Damien Aspen, dedicated his life to rescuing animals through the Aspen Foundation, an organization focused on saving endangered wildlife, especially gorillas, and returning them to the wild whenever possible. Because of this, Tany and her siblings grew up at Howlett's Zoo in Canterbury, surrounded by animals that felt more like family than exhibits. When Tany was just over a year old, an injured gorilla named Bims arrived at the zoo after his family was killed by poachers. He needed constant care, and Tany was always nearby. As she grew older, she spent hours inside the gorilla enclosure, playing and comforting him so he would never feel alone. Then one day, her father surprised her with something extraordinary: a baby gorilla named Jalta. He was an orphan, far too young to survive on his own. Gorillas are deeply social animals, so instead of raising him behind bars, the family gave him what he needed most: love. Tany helped feed him, held him when he was scared, and treated him like a baby brother. But Jalta grew fast, far faster than any human sibling ever could. Eventually, he moved into the zoo enclosure with Bims. Everyone worried at first, but Bims showed remarkable gentleness. The two became instant friends, and both adored Tany. Their bond seemed unbreakable, until public outrage changed everything. After photos surfaced of Tany interacting freely with the gorillas, the zoo faced intense backlash. Authorities demanded strict safety measures, and suddenly Tany was no longer allowed to touch her best friends. She could only sit outside the glass and press her hand against it as Jalta mirrored her from the other side. Not long after, human contact was reduced even further to prepare the gorillas for life in the wild. When Jalta and Bims were finally released into a sanctuary in Gabon, it was a bittersweet goodbye. Tany hugged them one last time, knowing she might never see them again. Nearly 20 years passed. The gorillas became fully wild, nervous around humans, and integrated into their own family groups. Tany was told never to seek them out again. But when her father planned one final trip to Africa after a health scare, she knew she had to go. The journey was long and difficult. When they finally located the gorilla group along a river, Tany stayed back, until Jalta suddenly approached her. He towered over her now. Her heart raced as he reached out and grabbed her arm. Then something incredible happened. Jalta gently pressed his head against hers, just as he had when he was a baby. Tany stroked him instinctively, and he responded with soft, careful movements. Moments later, Bims joined them, calmly touching her face. They remembered. Even the guides were stunned. When it was time to leave, the gorillas moaned softly, unwilling to let her go. Tany cried as she said goodbye, grateful she hadn't listened to the warnings. The bond they shared had survived time, distance, and the wild. They were home, and so was she. As the boat slowly pulled away, Tany stood frozen, watching Jalta and Bims from the riverbank. The gorillas remained there, silent and still, their eyes never leaving her. It was as if they understood this goodbye might be the last. Tany's heart ached, but this time there was peace in it too. She had seen with her own eyes that the bond they shared had not disappeared. It had simply changed, growing stronger in memory than in touch. Jalta and Bims were no longer the playful companions of her childhood. They were wild, free, and exactly where they belonged. As the forest closed in behind them, Tany knew she would carry this moment forever. Love, she realized, doesn't fade with time or distance. And sometimes, the greatest proof of love is letting go, knowing that something beautiful once existed and always will.